Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It is dry now, but gray. Late this afternoon into the evening, we'll have scattered thunderstorms that'll kick off a pattern that keeps us wet all week. I'll show you the timeline for the rain coming up.
And today is Juneteenth. WRAL's Laura Levine will join us live to tell us about the significance of one of America's newest federally recognized holidays. Plus,
who takes down all the stars in Los Angeles to win the United States Open.
Yeah, in a city of stars and some of golf's best, Wyndham Clark wins the 2023 U.S. Open. We show you the touching dedication he made to his late mother after that win. Not a familiar name to a lot of people.
No, but he won in Charlotte a few weeks ago for his first ever PGA Tour win. He was really emotional then, and he's obviously stayed on a heater.
Absolutely. So glad you're with us here on Fox 50. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Great to have you along here. See some clouds behind us here. Things are going to be topsy-turvy here for today and throughout the rest of the week. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Boy, when you open the door right now, you're going to feel it. Temperature is 75 with a dew point of 72. Feels very much like an oppressive summer, muggy kind of start to the day. We'll likely have some sunshine. You can almost see a little bit of sun glinting there on the water tower here at Rocky Mount Mills. We have a lot of cloud cover across the area right now, but a lot of that may thin out as we get closer to lunchtime. Down along the Gulf Coast, we've seen a lot of severe storms. Those yellow boxes that continue there, especially in southern Alabama, is where we have some severe thunderstorm warnings. Right here, our warm front lifts across our area today. That's going to bring us some scattered thunderstorms. And then those thunderstorms will just change over to rain. And we'll see that overnight tonight. And that will kick off a very wet pattern. Not looking at a lot of severe storms really with this pattern, but a lot of potentially heavy rain. You can see this band right here, likely to have some thunder and lightning with it around 3 o'clock in our western counties, right through the middle of the viewing area at 5 o'clock. So it's going to be a messy commute. Then it just changes over to rain as we get through the evening. And then we'll have waves of rain all the way through Sunday. Right now, it looks like Wednesday could be the wettest day, and I'll show you that coming up. Temperatures right now are in the low to mid 70s. So it is a warm start. And we could hit 90 degrees this afternoon before we see the rain beginning. So keep that in mind if you're going to be out and about. Juneteenth celebrations. Hopefully all of that will be sort of the first part of the day into the early afternoon, because after that we'll be dealing with some heavier rain. Brian?
It is 8:02 right now, and we are still watching some delays in the south part of Raleigh toward Garner with a crash at the intersection of Tryon Road at Hammond Road. I just looked at some data from Raleigh 911, and it looks like that is still an active scene, and we're seeing especially heavy traffic right now in both directions of Tryon Road moving through that intersection, so allow some extra time through there. Still have that minor crash reported up on the north side of Raleigh at Capitol Boulevard at Appliance Court just north of the 440 interchange. Still seeing traffic flowing fairly well through that area here over the past few minutes. Around the rest of the triangle, we're in pretty good shape overall. There's a report of a disabled vehicle there at 87 at 440 on the east side of Raleigh and on the Beltline right around Ridge Road, but we're not really seeing any big delays with those reported disabled vehicles. In Durham, traffic's moving along well on major routes. We'll check in live with I-40 out at Fayetteville Road. Both sides looking pretty good. The eastbound traffic coming in from Chapel Hill into South Durham, 15501 out to 885, seeing just a 1-minute delay on those live sensor readings.
Thanks, Brian. We're following breaking news. One person is dead and 5 others were hurt in a shooting in a Greenville neighborhood. It happened on West 6th Street. Greenville police responded there to reports of shots fired. When officers got to the scene, they found a 45-year-old man dead. The injured people were taken to ECU Health Medical Center. They are expected to survive. Police say this shooting was a gunfight between 2 groups of people involved in a dispute. Police plan to release the name of the man who died later today.
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a fire that killed 5 people, including a father and his sons on Father's Day. Sky 5 flying over what was left of that home in Harnett County, just pieces of metal and charred appliances. Firefighters say Michael and Tammy Braymeyer, along with Daniel Garner and his 2 sons, died in that fire. Garner was a family friend who was staying with the Braymeyers. His sons were both under 18.
A man is in the hospital after being stabbed at an apartment complex in Cary. Officers spent hours at the Ashton Woods apartments trying to figure out how this happened. They say a man was stabbed several times at an apartment and then made it down the street to a parking lot. First responders took him to a hospital from there. We've made calls to see how he's doing this morning, and we're working to find out what led up to the stabbing and if police know who did it.
New this morning, a Wake County assistant principal is suing the leader of the North Carolina House over accusations of an affair. Scott Lassiter filed the suit against House Speaker Tim Moore. Lassiter ran for State House last year and serves on the Wake County Soil and Water Conservation Board. He accuses Moore of having an affair with his wife for more than 3 years. His wife, Jamie Lyles Lassiter, no longer lives with Scott. She works as the executive director of the North Carolina Conference of Clerks of Superior Court. In statements sent to WRAL, both she and Moore called the accusations baseless and false. North Carolina is one of the few states that allows spouses to sue for an affair. Scott Lassiter is seeking more than $25,000 in damages.
Today's Juneteenth, the newest national holiday, and many people have the paid day off. You'll notice most federal offices are closed, along with most banks. Mail won't be delivered. Celebrations are also planned to commemorate the day. And WRAL's Laura Levine is live at North Carolina Central University, where a big event is planned there. Laura, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff. Yes, the Triangle has many opportunities today to celebrate Juneteenth. Here at North Carolina Central University, they have an event dedicated to educating the community about why we recognize this day. Get a look at the crowds over the weekend who celebrated. Juneteenth commemorates the emancipation of enslaved Americans. The School of Law at NCCU says their descendants are disproportionately represented in our judicial system. So today, a panel discussion will take place here along with performances and entertainment. It's considered the longest running African American holiday, but Juneteenth wasn't recognized as a federal holiday until 2021. That's 156 years after it was first celebrated. Many people believe it's important we continue to recognize our history and highlight paths to move forward. And just a reminder, again, many businesses, offices, and banks are closed today because it is a federal holiday. The event here at NCCU begins at 1 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Well, this morning we're working to find out what led to a man being shot and killed in Johnston County. The shooting happened last night at a home on Wilson's Mills near Selma. We're working to find out the name of that man who died.
In Fayetteville, a husband and wife are dead after a shooting. Officers found Lewis and Sandra Robinson dead in a home on Torbay Drive yesterday afternoon. Police think this is an isolated incident and there's no public threat any further. We're working to find out what led up to the shooting.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people are waking up without power this morning after severe storms rocked southern states overnight. Many customers in Oklahoma are waiting to find out this morning to learn when they'll get power back as they brace for temperatures in the 90s. Storms there knocked down trees, cutting off power and roads. The National Weather Service is also investigating reports of tornadoes. Last week's storms in the south killed at least 5 people. A search is underway this morning for the possible people responsible for a deadly shooting at a Juneteenth celebration. Deputies in Illinois say gunfire erupted early yesterday morning at the celebration on Willow Brook, which is west of Chicago. Officers had been monitoring the event, but the shooting started when they stepped away to respond to calls of a fight. One person died and at least 22 others were hurt. Several others were hurt in the chaos that followed.
Also, Ken, Illinois not the only state dealing with the fallout of weekend violence. In Washington state, 2 people were killed, 3 others hurt in a shooting at the Beyond Wonderland Music Festival. Officers say they have the gunman in custody. That festival was canceled. In Georgia, 5 people were taken to the hospital after a shooting outside a nightclub in DeKalb County, just outside of Atlanta. Authorities there have not made any arrests.
Well, a single stroke sealed the deal for the new U.S. Open champion. Yeah, that was it right there. That's the moment Wyndham Clark claimed his first major title. The 21-year-old held off 4-time major champion Rory McIlroy and get his win. He had never even made the cut for this competition before. After the tournament, Clark dedicated his win to his mother, who died of breast cancer in 2013.
All I really wish is that my mom could be here and I could just hug her and we could celebrate together. But I know she's proud of me.
Yeah, with Clark's win at the U.S. Open, he earns $3.6 million of the record-high $20 million purse. Well, next year, the U.S. Open will be right here in our backyard at Pinehurst number 2.
Coming up on 10 minutes after 8 on our Monday morning, and a wildfire is burning in the eastern part of our state. How it's affecting air quality there and an update on how much has been contained.
Also, a mural in Raleigh with a positive picture of love and family the famous rapper depicts and what the artist wants people to take away from it.
It's warm and muggy to step outside right now. It's cloudy too. By late this afternoon, we'll see a round of thunderstorms that could produce some heavy rain. After that, we continue with showers all the way through the week. I'll show you how much rain will total up by Sunday.
.13 is the time right now. You wonder where that is in Raleigh? That's our tower camera right above the station, aimed straight down into our fountain. It's a beautiful sight as you walk onto the grounds here at WRAL. And you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Elizabeth Gardner is over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with some more views around town. They all look the same, though, kind of cloudy.
Yeah, and that fountain, that's going to look like our life for the rest of the week. That much rain. Woo! We're in for some wet conditions, but not just yet. So if you have something you would like to do or need to do outside today, I would get it done by the middle of the afternoon, because once this wet pattern starts, it is not going to quit anytime soon. We have mostly gray skies. There are a few places where it looks like the sun's trying to peek through, but it's been pretty cloudy for us this morning. It's a live look at Goldsboro and Apex, Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. And of course, that's our Durham newsroom over there by the DBAP. The worst of it has definitely been down along the Gulf Coast so far today. That red, big area, big shaded red area is where we have tornado watches. And then we've had some tornado warnings pop up. Severe thunderstorm warnings there in yellow, continuing here across parts of Georgia and Alabama. But this warm front will be lifting northward up across our area. That's going to bring us a chance of some thunderstorms this afternoon. And then once we get this first round through, it's possible that we could see storms later in the week, but it's more likely that we're just going to see waves of rain. This low pressure system, while it comes in pretty strong, it's just going to sit here. And each day it may weaken just a little bit more, at least each day past Wednesday. Wednesday right now looks like it could be the day that we see the heaviest rain. We have the potential for some localized flooding because we'll see days and days of this rain. We definitely need the rain, but maybe not so much. Partly cloudy, potentially into the early part of the afternoon, and then here comes that wave by 5 o'clock for the evening commute. We have that line of thunderstorms that'll make for a messy commute. And then it just switches over to rain, and we'll see rain on and off all night, rain on and off during the day on Tuesday. This is Tuesday at 6 a.m., so you're going to head out to some wet conditions, and there'll be some scattered showers during the morning commute, and then scattered showers during the evening. There's a look at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow and 5 o'clock. So it's just going to be a wet period. Things had really started to dry off, so we definitely need the rain. But again, this is going to be a lot. Watch the low, just sit here and spin back to our west. This is Tuesday. We'll jump on into Wednesday. You can see all that rain. Like I said, Wednesday looks like maybe the heaviest day as this front kind of lingers right over us. There's Thursday, again, rain, and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. Until that low completely dissipates or shifts out of here, we're going to be dealing with wet conditions. For today, the best chance of any flooding would be to our west. It's a medium risk around the mountains and Charlotte. And we'll add a few of our counties to that tomorrow, but we'll have a better chance across the state on Wednesday. This is going to be a medium risk for flooding that we'll see on Wednesday. Between now and Wednesday, we could see as much as 2 to 4 inches of rain from the Triangle area westward, maybe more like 1 to 2 in our eastern counties, but then we'll add some more to that, of course, later in the week. Wednesday is the first day of summer. With all this rain, it'll be cooler too. 74 degrees on Wednesday, which is more than 10 degrees cooler than normal. And then we are back into the 80s for Thursday through Sunday, but the rain continues, at least on and off. Brian?
At 8:16, still watching a couple of crashes out there and not really seeing any big changes with these just yet. As we look at that map there, closed in on Tryon Road at Hammond Road, a report of an earlier crash with injuries. Still seeing some delays as you head through that intersection. Still an active scene as far as we can tell. Also up at Capitol Boulevard at Appliance Court near the 440 interchange, a minor crash reported there. That's not creating any big problems as far as we can see on the sensors or the cameras, and I think it's a good chance that has been moved into a parking lot at this point, and we're not seeing any delays at all because of it. Around the rest of the triangle, of course, it is a federal holiday for many people. people, or it's a federal holiday and many people don't have to work today. So we have very light traffic volume on our major routes. No trouble showing up anywhere in Wake County. As we zoom in and show you some of those sensor readings coming in from Knightdale, picking up just a 1-minute slowdown on southbound 87, right around the Hodge Road area especially. And some of the usual delays coming in from Wake Forest at the stoplights along southbound Capitol Boulevard. Right now we're measuring about a 3-minute backup to 540.
Brian, thanks. Marysville police need your help tracking down the person or persons responsible for a shooting that led to a crash. This is video of the scene at Davis Drive and Morrisville Carpenter Road. Investigators say they responded Saturday night around 7:30. They found 3 victims inside the car, all of whom were suffering gunshot wounds. You can see the vehicle covered in bullet holes. Witnesses say the suspected shooters got away in another car. Police say they do not believe this shooting was random.
We're also working to learn if charges will be filed in a crash that left a woman dead in Rocky Mount. Police say 5 people were involved in a 2-car crash. We're told it happened early, 2:30 Sunday morning in the 3000 block of South Church Street. A woman killed has been identified as Linda Green.
Pope Francis celebrated his first public mass since being released from the hospital. He's still not working a full schedule, though. Doctors want the Pope to take things slowly as he continues to recover. They're asking him to rest before upcoming trips to Portugal and Mongolia. Pope Francis underwent a successful hernia surgery earlier this month.
This morning, firefighters say they've contained 10% of a wildfire that's burning in the eastern part of our state. This is video of the fire in Brunswick County. The NC Forest Service says it has burned 16,000 acres so far. Dozens of firefighting crews are in the area working to put it out. No one is injured and no buildings are damaged. The smoke has created foggy conditions in the area, though, especially along Highway 211 and Highway 17. The Brunswick County area is under a code red air quality alert. The Wilmington area is under a code orange.
A Pennsylvania state trooper is dead and another is in critical condition at the hospital after chase and shootout. Flags are flying at half-staff across the state in honor of Jacques Rougeau Jr. This all started after a man fired shots into patrol cars at the Pennsylvania State Police Station in Lewistown. That's in the center of the state. Troopers say the gunman took off, then ambushed and killed Rougeau a short time later. Officers then chased the gunman through several neighborhoods before killing him in a shootout.
Our hearts and prayers are with these brave troopers and their families.
Investigators are still trying to piece together a motive for this attack.
All right, check out this huge mural that is going up in Raleigh. It's outside Irregardless Cafe on West Morgan Street. It is such a sight. The mural is a tribute to Black fatherhood, depicting a photo of rapper Busta Rhymes gently kissing his son Trillion as he drops him off at college. Local artist Derek Coulter spent day in, day out working on this, with even some sleepless nights. The owner and property manager of Irregardless were determined to make this happen.
Work focuses around this positive imagery, specifically of Black people, pictures of joy, depictions of family and love, and I think for me this picture was the epitome of that. But I'm glad that we finally got to the point where timeline-wise this has come together, because I feel like the world needs this right now. We need this right now. I need this right now.
We can all use it. She says she wants this mural to be a safe space and to inspire people to show up for one another.
Well, 2 local students have a shot at helping run Sunmade, and they need your help. Gabriella from Fayetteville and Robbie from Fuquay Varina are 2 of the 15 finalists competing for a spot on Sunmade's Board of Imagination. Whoever is selected will help the company make brand and product decisions and receive about $5,000, as well as a year's worth of snacks for their respective school. You can vote for one of them online through this Friday at 5 p.m. We've posted a link on WRAL.com.
Well, if you're not smiling this morning, this will help to get you there. Samson Adams of Kentucky says he's been riding his bike to work 3 hours in the heat each day. And he says his bike stopped working recently, so his coworker began giving him a ride to their jobs at Texas Roadhouse. She says the more they talked, the more she learned about Samson. Joelle Long is a community ambassador for the restaurant. She says she posted about Samson on Facebook. The community came together and handed him over the keys to a new car.
And she was like, "No, you're not in trouble. I got news for you. We got you a car." I'm like, what? Just basically like, I didn't know what to think.
Oh, now he thinks the commute will be shorter. Sampson says it's a true blessing. The 3-hour bike ride he used to have is now just a 30-minute drive to work.
He's doing the happy dance as well. He should. Well, check this out. A bear in Colorado found itself in a bit of a situation. Take a look at your screen here. This happened Wednesday in Steamboat Springs. The bear was caught on video hanging by its claws from the second-story window. Well, it finally ended when the bear decided to climb back inside the house and then through another window, which was on ground level, and he was able to get away.
My word. I know they can climb, but straight down the side of the house there. And that's a weird colored bear there. I don't know if it's a spring season right there. Not a black bear. It's probably a brown bear, right? But not a grizzly, right? Not
but he had the wherewithal to climb back in the house, go out through another window, which was ground level. It's a good thing.
You notice where the video was coming from? Outside.
Yeah, and from a distance, too. I'm not getting any close to that. An incredible sight. Can you imagine the person shooting this video?
No, just stay far enough away. Hope he doesn't fall on you.
Exactly. Well, there's a new luxury bag collection that you can add to your wardrobe, and it features looks inspired by the Indiana Jones franchise. The collection is a collaboration between the movie's costume designer Joanna Johnston and luxury leather brand Metier. It features items for both men and women, like a suede design duffel and messenger bags, but it might cost you. The price points range from $195 to $5,000. More local news ahead, right here on Fox 50, including what today marks.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning at 8:26. I'm Ken Smith. We hope you got your fill of sunshine over the weekend, because you'll be hard-pressed to see any sunshine this week. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough message on a Monday morning, isn't it? We take a look at Sanford. A lot of cloud cover here, but it's a lot of low cloud cover. We'll probably see some of that break up between now and lunchtime for a few peaks of sunshine. The flip side of that is it's already warm, and any sunshine we see is going to drive our temperatures up to around 90 this afternoon. 72 in Lewisburg, 74 Irwin, 73 in South Hill. If you're headed out for your morning exercise, it's warm and sticky right now. We'll climb to 90 before the rain begins. We'll start to see some thunderstorms mid to late afternoon across the area, and then rain overnight and nearly every day this week. Brian?
We're watching traffic this morning and seeing very light volume on our major routes. We do have a crash still in the clearing stages in South Raleigh at Tryon Road at Hammond Road. Most recent updates from those live sensors there indicate the traffic's flowing a lot more freely through that intersection. And we still have a minor crash reported up on Capitol Boulevard near the 440 interchange at Appliance Corp. We haven't seen any delays showing up with that. Major routes in Wake County are looking good. And as we take a look at those major approaches into Durham, they're clear as well. 40 eastbound, a smooth ride out of Hillsborough through Chapel Hill all the way into South Durham.
A man is in the hospital after being stabbed at an apartment complex in Cary. Officers spent hours at the Ashton Woods Apartments trying to figure out exactly how this happened. The man, who was stabbed several times at that apartment complex, made it down the street to a parking lot. You can celebrate Juneteenth with the Harry Jones Memorial Lecture in Fayetteville. The event is hosted by the North Carolina History Center on the Civil War, Emancipation, and Reconstruction. It starts at 7 o'clock at Mount Sinai Missionary Baptist Church. More local news ahead on Fox 50, but the Today Show continues on WRAL.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Here's a look at our rain chances for today. It's pretty warm and humid right now, but we don't see rain developing until mid to late afternoon. Once that rain starts, we're likely to see rain on and off all week long. We'll walk through it coming up.
And this morning, the investigation into what caused a fire that killed 5 people on Father's Day continues.
Many people across the country, including right here in the Triangle, are recognizing Juneteenth, the federal holiday. Just ahead, a look at how North Carolina Central University plans to educate the community about why this day is so important.
And we get our Monday started. We are so glad that you're making us part of your day as we get a Abbreviated work week for some to start. I think maybe sitting at home watching still. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Ken Smith, and we're in for some major changes too. It was nice and sunny over the weekend, but boy, it's going to be changing this week. Let's get right to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Lots of cloud cover out there for us this morning, but it's also really warm and muggy. This is a look at gray skies over North Hills right now in Raleigh. 75 is our temperature, and our dew point is at 70. That's a real summer feel as you step out the door. We're also looking at severe storms in the deep south, the southern part of Alabama and Georgia, looking at a warm front that's starting to lift up across South Carolina. That will produce some thunderstorms for us mid to late afternoon, and those will fizzle out, but the rain will continue overnight. You can see Futurecast keeps trying to show some breaks in the clouds, so we could see that between now and lunchtime. It looks like by 3 o'clock, we're seeing that line of thunderstorms in our western counties right around the evening commute, right through the middle of the viewing area from Roxborough all the way through Fayetteville, and then it just starts to fizzle. The storms do, but the rain lingers, and we're going to see waves of rain all the way through the weekend. We checked temperatures heading out the door. Everybody in the low to mid 70s right now, and it is muggy. Your Juneteenth planner is a warm one. Before the rain starts, we could climb up to 90 degrees, especially with a few breaks in the clouds. But mid to late afternoon, the storms roll through. The temperatures will drop at that point, and we're looking at some much cooler highs for the next couple of days. I'll show you coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. So breaking news now. 1 person is dead and 5 others are hurt in a shooting in a Greenville neighborhood. It happened on West 6th Street. Greenville police responded to reports of shots fired. When officers got on the scene, they found a 45-year-old man dead. The injured were transported to ECU Health Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say this shooting was a gunfight between 2 groups of people, apparently in some type of dispute. Police plan to release the name of the man who died later today.
This is heartbreaking, Ken. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused the fire that killed 5 people, including a father and his sons on Father's Day. Sky 5 flew over what's left of the home in Harnett County. Just pieces of metal and charred appliances. Firefighters say Michael and Tammy Braymeyer, along with Daniel Garner and his 2 sons, died in the fire. Garner was a family friend who was staying with the Braymeyers. His sons were both under the age of 18.
Well, a man is in the hospital after being stabbed at an apartment complex in Cary. Officers spent hours at the Ashton Woods Apartments trying to figure out exactly how this happened. The man who was stabbed apparently stumbled down the street to a parking lot. From there, first responders took him to a hospital. We've made calls to see how that man is doing. We're working to find out what led up to that shooting. So far, no arrest in this case.
New this morning, a Wake County assistant principal is suing the leader of North Carolina's House over accusations of an affair. Scott Lassiter filed the suit against House Speaker Tim Moore. Lassiter ran for State House last year and serves on the Wake County Soil and Water Conservation Board. He accuses Moore of having an affair with his wife for more than 3 years. His wife, Jamie Lyles Lassiter, no longer lives with Scott. She works as the executive director of the North Carolina Conference of Clerks of Superior Court. In statements sent to WRAL, both she and Moore called the accusations baseless and false. North Carolina is one of the few states that allows spouses to sue for an affair. Scott Lassiter is seeking more than $25,000 in damages.
And Jeff, we actually have an update to that story just in the last 30 minutes. We are hearing from Scott's attorney. We got the statement from the attorney. The attorney says the complaint speaks for itself. There is irrefutable evidence to support Mr. Lassiter's claims. That is all they are saying right now. This is a story that we will continue to follow and bring you any updates as we get them.
All right, thanks for that. And Juneteenth is today. It's the newest national holiday. For only the second time, a lot of folks had a paid day off. You'll notice most federal offices are closed, along with most banks. Mail won't be delivered. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us to explain why this holiday is more than just that day off of work.
Well, people across the country are now recognizing Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Here in the Triangle, many events are taking place to celebrate and recognize this day, whether you want to stop by a museum, maybe take a tour at a historic site, or just celebrate with some live music. Here at North Carolina Central University, the law school here is hosting an event that will educate the community about why we recognize this day. Get a look at the crowds over the weekend who celebrate it. Juneteenth commemorates the emancipation of enslaved enslaved Americans. The School of Law here says their descendants are disproportionately represented in our judicial system. So today, a panel discussion will take place here along with performances and entertainment. It's considered the longest running African American holiday, but Juneteenth wasn't recognized as a federal holiday until June 17, 2021. That's 156 years after it was first celebrated. And many people believe it's important we continue to recognize our history and highlight paths to move forward.
I think it's something that we have to continue push as a person, as people, to celebrate and to commemorate.
And just a reminder, many offices, businesses, and banks are closed today for the federal holiday. The event here at NCCU gets underway at 1 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Durham.
Well, this morning we're working to find out what led to a man being shot and killed in Johnston County. The shooting happened last night at a home in Wilson's Mills near Selma. We're working to find out the name of that man who died. In Fayetteville, a husband and wife are dead after a shooting. Officers found Lewis and Sandra Robinson dead in a home on Torbay Drive yesterday afternoon. Police think this is an isolated incident and there's no threat to the public. We're working to find out what led up to that shooting. Happening today, most mask requirements come to an end for UNC Health employees, patients, and visitors. UNC Health going mask optional based on current CDC guidelines and COVID-19 cases and transmission rates continuing to decline. Masks will still be required in certain cases, including for patients who have symptoms of respiratory illnesses and for employees who are treating those patients. Now, patients who choose to wear a mask can ask their provider to wear one as well.
A major diplomatic meeting has happened today between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and China's president. It's the first high-level talks between our two governments in months. The meeting between Blinken and President Xi Jinping is the first high level of those talks, as I said, in months. And the two leaders met at the Great Hall of the People. No word on yet on what was specifically discussed, but leaders from both countries expressed the importance of maintaining better lines of communication. Relations between the U.S. and China have fallen to their lowest point in decades after Americans shot down a Chinese surveillance balloon that drifted across our country back in February.
Well, hundreds of thousands of people are waking up without power this morning after severe storms rocked southern states overnight. Many customers in Oklahoma are still waiting this morning to learn when they'll get power back as they brace for temperatures in the 90s. Storms there knocked down trees, cutting off power and roads. The National Weather Service is also investigating reports of tornadoes. Last week's storms in the south killed at least 5 people.
More than 100,000 people have been without power across East Texas for days as excessive heat warnings are now in effect.
It's been horrible because it's been like the heat index has been so bad that literally we're having to sit in the cold baths just to cool ourselves down.
Power companies don't expect restoration for another several days for many communities. Local organizations are handing out free water and ice. Much of the region has been without power since early Friday morning when powerful storms ripped through the area, bringing down those power lines. The worst of the heat is expected today through Wednesday, with the heat index climbing between 113 all the way up to 122 degrees in cities like Houston, San Antonio, and Dallas. Oh, no fish story here. Controversy at this year's Big Rock fishing tournament. We'll explain why the winner was disqualified despite that marlin right there they caught weighing more than 600 pounds.
And a chef from Kentucky is working to feed astronauts higher quality food. We'll show you how he's preparing to fuel the crew who will be part of the mission to Mars.
And here's a live look right now, straight down Salem Street in Apex. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will be tracking when rain and cooler temperatures will move into our area.
Welcome back at 8:42. You're looking live at Carolina Beach. You can see activity picking up there this morning. It's still a little cloudy, but better get your beach time in now because the rest of the week will look a lot different. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner to fill us in. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends that are at the beach. I'm feeling for them. It's going to be a wet week at the beach. This is a live look at Fayetteville, and you can see it looks hazy there. And there is some smoke from a wildfire near Wilmington that's drifting up across our area. Our air quality forecast today is just yellow, so it's not anything that we should necessarily be too concerned about, but we're watching those air quality levels for you. And it looks a little hazy there in Fayetteville, of course, which is a bit closer to Wilmington. 75 right now with a dew point of 70. It is warm and muggy. We're going to see temperatures in the mid-80s by lunchtime. We should climb to 90 before the thunderstorms roll through. We're going to see this warm front continuing to lift northward across our area later on today. We're starting to see some scattered thunderstorms west of Charlotte right now, and we'll see those in our area a bit later on this afternoon. We take a look at Futurecast and zoom in on our area, again looking at where some of those storms are right now. They're back to the west at lunchtime, and they're continuing to move eastward, but they're not in our area until around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So right after lunchtime, we're going to start to see a line of thunderstorms. It's going to make for a messy evening commute all the way from Roxborough through Raleigh and Fayetteville right around 5 o'clock. And then the thunderstorms are likely to weaken, but the rain will remain. And we're going to see rain on and off all the way through the weekend. Between now and the next 7 days, we could easily see from Raleigh westward 4 to 5 inches and maybe 2 to 3 inches from Raleigh eastward. There are going to be some pockets that are probably heavier than that. And in the mountains, it could be 7 to 10 inches. Pretty much guaranteed that there's going to be some flooding in the mountains. And we have a medium risk for flooding on Wednesday. Right now, Wednesday looks like our wettest day. This afternoon, before the rain starts, 90 in Raleigh, 88 in Durham, and 91 in Fayetteville. Our normal high is 88. And once that rain starts, we'll see 79 tomorrow, 74 on Wednesday, which is the first day of summer officially. Then we get back into the 80s. Watching a couple of waves coming off the coast of Africa, just waiting on this one here. The first one in line, any minute now, it could become a tropical depression or possibly tropical storm Brett. And then the second one in line, actually, let's take a look at the computer models first. Computer model runs are kind of all over the place. Most likely that it's going to turn up into the Atlantic and potentially away from land. But, you know, the models are still kind of all over the place on that. So we're continuing to watch that. Then the second one in line has a 30% chance of developing in the next 7 days. Checking those temperatures again from 90 today for Juneteenth to 74 for the first day of summer. Big changes coming our way. And then highs will be in the low to mid 80s into the weekend, and we'll continue with that chance for rain. If you haven't been watering, don't start now.
All right, Elizabeth, we'll wait for help to be on the way. Also today, President Joe Biden travels to California as he highlights the climate change crisis we're facing. It's part of his campaign swing through that state this week, and the White House says Biden will be in Santa Clara County. He's expected to unveil a major program designed to help communities become more resilient to extreme weather and other effects of climate change. The program is reportedly aimed at coastal areas. The president's 3-day trip to the Bay Area comes less than a week after 4 major environmental groups endorsed the president's re-election bid.
A woman is facing charges this morning, accused of robbing a gas station in Rocky Mount. Police say Laura Lee Watson went inside the Speedway on Wesleyan Boulevard early Sunday morning, just after midnight. Officers say she pulled out a gun and demanded money. Officers found Watson in the field behind the store. Watson is charged with armed robbery with a dangerous weapon and resisting arrest.
All right, so look at the size of this huge blue marlin, okay, and then the little nick that was taken out of it right there. That's important. It was caught during the Big Rock tournament in Moorhead City, and it weighed 619 pounds, bigger than all the other blue marlins that were caught in that tournament. It wasn't the winner, though. The sensation, the team on that boat, reeled it in Saturday night. On Sunday, the catch was disqualified due to what was likely a shark bite there. Now, a statement from the Big Rock tournament reads in part, Sensation's 619-pound blue marlin is disqualified due to a mutilation caused by a shark or other marine animal. The fish was determined to be mutilated before it was landed or boated, and therefore it was disqualified. As a result, the winning boat is now Sushi. Its crew reeled in 484-pound blue marlin. The team beat out 271 other boats that participated in the tournament, and they won almost $2.8 million.
Well, a 17-year-old is grateful to be alive after needing to be rescued from a rip current at Holden Beach. Seth Enzo says he started to feel the water pull him under, but didn't realize it until 5 minutes later he was stuck in a rip current. Luckily, Timothy Turner was in the right place at the right time. He saw Enzo and another man struggling, so he grabbed his board and jumped in to help, risking his own life to save both of them.
They were done. They were out of energy. They were just bobbing and weaving.
That was a very difficult situation. I don't think very many people would have been able to save me. I would just like to express my gratitude and thanks to Mr. Tim again, and how lucky I am for him to be out there.
Right place, right time for sure. Water rescue officials say if you're stuck in a rip current, the best thing to do is not panic. If you're not a strong swimmer, just float until you're out of that current.
A chef in Kentucky has a unique opportunity to make higher quality food for astronauts. Evan Leake reports.
Fresh week, turn the mill on.
Bob Perry has been on the culinary grind for the better part of 40 years, 17 of them as the chef in residence for UK's College of Agriculture.
My tenure here at UK has been the best of all. I've been involved in lots of different stuff, involved in bourbon and neurogastronomy now, and the neurogastronomy has taken me into space.
It's an opportunity that is truly out of this world.
They grow organic garlic. They bring it in here, we slice it, put it on these trays, dehydrate it. It takes about a week, and then I grind it into garlic powder.
Chef Perry is on the cutting edge of innovating how to get higher quality food to astronauts when they go into space.
We're looking at the Mars mission, which will be 7 months to get there, a year on the planet, and then 7 months to get back. Nobody's ever been in space longer than 3 weeks without being resupplied. And what neurogastronomy is looking at, as far as space goes, is everything else involved in eating and food.
Chef Perry has worked and brainstormed with some of the top names at NASA to break down food on a near molecular level, from how to get fresh medicinal herbs to astronauts to condensing food to fit the needs for space travel.
Anything that goes on has to be weighed. They know exactly to the tiniest fraction how much everything weighs on the space station. So a lot of their food is dehydrated. So it's been fun playing around with this to make different foods at different applications.
It's as much play as it is work for Chef Perry, letting him view food in a whole new way while helping those getting a glimpse at the final frontier.
So it's an education for me too. You know, that's the beauty of working at a Division I university is lots of really cool people around doing lots of really neat stuff. And for my part, everybody eats.
Don't we all? And I guess once you've done everything on Earth, why not take it into orbit? That was Evan Leake reporting.
Well, having immediate access to hormone therapy can help ease mental health problems for transgender adults. Scientists at the University of Melbourne recently finished a study finding that reducing the wait time from gender-affirming testosterone therapy also lowered psychological distress called gender dysphoria. The new study also found a clinically significant decrease in depression and suicidal thoughts. The findings were presented at the Endocrine Society conference over the weekend, but the study is undergoing peer review and has not yet been published.
All right, check this out. Our Cary resident captured these pictures of a rare white squirrel spotted on Sunday. Critters are most often found in the city of Brevard, North Carolina, making this a special treat, as the last time one was reported being seen in the Triangle was 2016. Experts say you know it's a white squirrel, not an albino, by its dark eyes and the gray patch on its head.
Not interested in seeing a white squirrel. No.
I would have thought albino right away.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even though Juneteenth is today, several communities all across North Carolina and the nation celebrating over the weekend, including Fayetteville. People there attended the second Juneteenth Jubilee. There was live music, food trucks, artists, games, and a lot of family-friendly fun. They even had an outdoor skating rink. Everything highlighting Black culture and businesses in our area, our state, and the Fayetteville area as well.
Also, as you know, Ken, you were there. Hundreds of folks also celebrated at Dix Park in Raleigh over the weekend for the Capital City Juneteenth celebration. Saturday's event was part of a week of Juneteenth events in Raleigh, and WRAL is a proud sponsor of the 2023 Capital City Juneteenth celebration.
Good fun to see everybody stopping by the WRAL booth as well. It's the ultimate crossover. Terminator star Linda Hamilton is joining Stranger Things. It's for the Netflix show's 5th and final season. The company's chief action officer happens to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, Hamilton's Terminator co-star. He helped announce Hamilton's news during an event in Brazil over the weekend. It's unclear what role she will play, though. Production on the show is on hold right now because of the writer's strike.
That's going to be a great addition. It just, in my opinion, I can't wait to see what kind of role she plays, because you know that thing goes sideways a lot.
In a heartbeat. But, we're tired of this writer's strike.
Yeah, I know,
get these
exactly.
things back on track.
Yeah,
so
we'll I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
If you are looking to move to Ireland, here comes your chance. It comes with a catch, though. Ireland's government launched its On Our Islands campaign to get willing buyers to move to their 30 rural Western islands. Potential owners will receive grants up to $92,000 US, but the money can only be used for renovations for vacant homes. Buyer beware, owning a home does not guarantee the right to live there.
Well, take a look at your screen. You're winning lottery numbers right there.